Tom O'Halloran, holding the line against tyranny from Washington, D.C.
I am America. One voice, united we stand. I am America. One hope to heal our land. There is still work that must be done. I will not rest until we've won. I am America.
Welcome back. This is the fastest hour in radio. This is a Thursday night edition of the Patriot Radio Show, and I'm your host, Tom O'Halloran. Again, I'd like to thank everybody in the chat room, everybody that listens in the archives. I'd like to thank Wayne Dupree for inviting me to come over to his News Ninja Network. It's an honor to be here, brother. I'd also like to thank my producer tonight, Jared, keeping me moving along and sounding as good as I can. Okay, up next. We can't mention God. We can't even bow our head in a silent prayer in public schools. And yet high schools are being taught about Islam. Elementary schools are being taught. One high school student brought home his test, and his dad about had a heart attack. It's a fill in the blanks. So even if you don't believe what the answers are, you've got to put the right answers in or you'll fail the test. One of the right answers, supposedly, states most Muslims, then a blank, is stronger than the average Christian. And it's supposed to be filled in. Most Muslims' faith is stronger than the average Christian. Islam is blank. Islam is the fastest growing religion in the world. Jihad is waged on behalf of Islam as a duty, a personal struggle, or a devotion to Islam, especially involving spiritual discipline. They're trying to take the word jihad and separate it from the severed heads they hold up of our sons. It's horrible, the things that they're putting in our schools. In Texas, there's an organization called Truth in Texas Textbooks, and they're going through these books. One of the social studies books has Jesus mentioned twice as a prophet. Chapter 3 is entirely devoted to Muhammad. He's called the true prophet. And they talk about how wonderful Islam is and how peaceful and loving it is. Folks, if you're not real sure about Islam, find your way to patriotradioshow.com and listen to my show, Islam is Not a Religion. I promise you, you won't have any doubts when you're done. And if that wasn't bad enough, teaching Islam in our schools, in Chicago, well, yeah, where else? Liberals are teaching fifth graders, fifth, the number 5, how to have safe anal sex. The Chicago public schools system is teaching our fifth graders not only that anal sex happens, but how to do it. They're also teaching kids that the morning after pill is not an abortion pill, which anybody with half a brain knows is an outright lie. The point is what are they doing teaching fifth graders? What are they doing teaching any of our kids anything about sex? All they're doing is trying to take the role of the parent. They're trying to separate the kids from the parent, and they will decide what's right for the kids to learn. And it's all part of the same problem we talk about every day. But we look at it as separate issues. This one being sex in schools. There's abortion. There's gay marriage. All these little tiny fights. They win a small battle here. They win a small battle there. But these aren't the battles that are being fought. What's being fought is good versus evil. We on the right, the Christians, we know that God created us to do certain things, to behave certain ways. We know we were designed to sleep with members of the opposite sex. We know that we were to marry members of the opposite sex. And we know that we're not to have sex when we're kids. The liberals are trying to implement the Communist Manifesto, destroy the family, destroy, blur all the lines. It's gay marriage, then it'll be monogamy. Who says we can't have two wives? Just because some Bible says one man and one woman, and they'll get that passed through. And then it'll be animals. Who's to say you can't marry a goat or marry your sister or have sex with your daughter? Every step of this battle is good versus evil. It's right versus wrong. And they put these little tiny pictures on it to narrow it down so it's not so obvious. You guys are good people. We're bad people. We want to do this. And if you think I'm joking, go to tomohalloran.com and look around a little bit. Or go to my website on the gay agenda, Algayda, ALGAYDA.com. There's a judge that has decided that the only reason we have incest laws were to prevent disease. Because if you have sex with your relatives, you've got degenerative genes, get mental illnesses and all this other stuff. So it was banned many years ago. But now that we have abortion pills, now that we have condoms, we should allow incest. Who's to say we can't? Who's to say we shouldn't? This is a judge, a sitting judge. And many years ago, not many, like in the 70s, being gay was declared or was considered a mental illness, a mental defect. And the liberals, the leftists, the communists got all that taken down. It's just a lifestyle now. They're doing the same thing, my friends, with pedophiles. Rather than being a crime, a sickness, rather than calling them perverts, now they're calling them youth preferred syndrome. It's just a syndrome. He's not sick. He just prefers kids. And give it another decade, they'll probably have that decriminalized. It's good versus evil. Don't let them call it anything else. Personally, I don't care if Bob marries Bill. But I'll fight to my dying breath to keep it from being called marriage. But it's good versus evil. It isn't about anything else. It's about tearing down the gender lines. It's about putting our kids in school with unisex bathrooms and teaching Billy that it's okay to come to school in a dress. Teaching teenagers it's okay to have operations to become transgendered. It's a sick world, and this president has done more to further that process than any communist from Russia has ever done. He has done more to ruin us politically, financially, socially, economically, and racially than any of our enemies since the British. Folks, stay with us. We've still got more coming up. We'll be right back.
You're listening to War. We Are America Radio, a place where conservatives, libertarians, and Tea Party Americans come together to get the real deal news. No filter, and a lot of patriotic spirit. We Are America Radio.
We may be surrounded. We may be outnumbered. We may be outgunned. But we'll never, ever stop the fight. Not while we're behind enemy lines on We Are America Radio.
Tom O'Halloran has a not-so-common core spelling lesson for the Obama administration. Ready? There is no K in America.
There's kids that can't pray in school, $100 tanks of gas. I can tell you right now, this country ain't supposed to be like that. No, that ain't my America. That ain't this country's roots. You wanna slam, hold on to Sam, but I ain't letting you. Yeah, I'm mad as hell, and you know I still bleed red, white, and blue. They ain't us, and that ain't my America. Oh no, that ain't my America.
Welcome back. This is the fastest hour in radio. This is the Thursday night edition of the Patriot Radio Show, and I'm your host, Tom O'Halloran. Okay. There's a fundraising event in Boston this week. It's being put on by the largest and wealthiest of the LGBT advocacy groups. You're going to love this name. The Human Rights Campaign. Now, they're based in Washington, D.C., and they got a multi-million-dollar annual budget. And they're holding this huge fundraising event made possible by corporate scholars. Scholars. I got my eyes fixed, and now my mouth doesn't work. By these corporate donors, Staples, CVS,